Hello everyone and welcome to another Oscar prediction video where today we will be taking a look at the category of Best Actor in a Leading Role. Now, you might get more than one video today because I want to catch up. I missed one a few days ago when Critics' Choice and BAFTA were happening at the same time. But because of those two award shows, there's now a couple of categories that I feel much more confident about that I didn't before those ceremonies happened. Best Actor, at this point I feel fairly confident that I know who is going to win, but I have to be honest, there is a part of me that still questions if there might be a race in here somewhere, and maybe this category isn't so open and shut as we think. But then again, maybe that's just the part of me that wants the race to be more exciting than it actually is. Let's not waste too much time getting into this. Fifth most likely to win is Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos. So this nomination is not one that a lot of people are too happy with, and I can see why. I don't hate Bardem in Being the Ricardos. I think he's a very talented actor. He's been nominated 3 times before and won for No Country for Old Men. He can be very, very good in the right role. Unfortunately, I don't think that this was the right role. He's playing a real-life actor Desi Arnaz, who was famously Cuban, and Javier Bardem is Spanish, trying to act Cuban in what a lot of people took as offensive, even before the movie came out when it was just the casting. And there's a lot of debate about if he succeeds in this role or if he doesn't. And when I saw the movie, I thought he was fine, but nothing terribly special, nothing that deserved a nomination, especially when you have someone like Peter Dinklage in Cyrano getting left out of the conversation. So Javier Bardem, I think, he's fine in this role. He's a very talented actor, and he's fine in this role, but he did not need to receive an Oscar nomination for Best Actor for this. I mean, even a supporting actor nomination, it would have been kind of category fraud, but I would have kind of seen it coming. But having him in the same category as the other 4 doesn't feel right to me, and I don't think there's any chance he's going to win. The film is not up for Best Picture, and it didn't get in anywhere outside of the acting categories. People like it, but he hasn't really won anything major all season long, and he even hasn't been nominated for that much stuff prior to the Oscar. So I just don't think the support is there for Bardem. People are saying he should be lucky he got this role, let alone receiving awards nominations for it. So I think it's very, very, very unlikely that Javier Bardem could pull off a win in this category. Fourth most likely to win is Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. So it's been a while since someone has been nominated for playing a Shakespearean character. The most recent example was Kenneth Branagh for Henry V back in 1989. The thing with Shakespeare is, yes, it's the thing that every actor wants to do, but there's also a certain level of, well, gee, everybody's done it. What can you do to make it your own? And in the case of Denzel Washington, I think he does a very good job in the role. I think personally I have a bit of a soft spot for, dang it, who's the actor? Michael Fassbender from the 2015 version. Okay, I'm a little bit, So I'm looking at this list right now, and it says Denzel Washington has been nominated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is his 9th nomination. Very, very respectable for an actor of his caliber. For any actor, he's great in this. He's great in almost everything he does. And I don't see him winning. For one thing, the movie is not nominated for picture, but for another thing, there is that hurdle of it's Shakespeare. And Macbeth is one of the most popular Shakespeare plays. I think it's like his 3rd most popular besides Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. And most people are very familiar with the story. Most people are familiar with the arc of Macbeth. Most people have seen somebody else do this character before, either on film or on stage. And so Denzel has a lot to live up to. And while I think it's a very good performance, I just don't see him winning for this. I think the movie is good, but I think he also has some really strong competition of more striking original characters and more striking characters based on novels, more striking real people. I just don't think that Denzel is going to pull this off. For as great an actor as he is, and I think he deserved a third Oscar win for Fences, and maybe he'll get a third Oscar someday, but I don't think it's going to be for this. Again, much respect to Denzel, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Third most likely to win is Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom. So this is Andrew Garfield's second nomination. He was nominated for Hacksaw Ridge in 2016. He also really should have been nominated for The Social Network, but let bygones be bygones. And he gives a really, really great performance in Tick, Tick, Boom, a movie that, quite frankly, should have been nominated for Best Picture. Now, early on, when this movie first came out, there was a lot of talk that he could win. Because he is so likable, and he carries the film almost entirely on his shoulders, and also he gave a lot of varied performances this year. He was very good in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, he was very good in Spider-Man, and of course his best performance was pretending that he wasn't in Spider-Man in interviews. I'm just kidding, obviously that was not a good performance. But he is a very good actor, and even at a relatively young age, he's given us a lot so far, and he only has a lot more to go. But that's kind of the problem. I think there's no immediate urgency to award him yet. It's a bit of a double standard, because with young actresses, they like to get him pretty early, and like, ooh, young ingenue. But with men, they kind of make you wait for it a little bit. And so, I think Andrew Garfield is going to have to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. Lin-Manuel directs the movie. But besides that, okay, Andrew Garfield did win the Globe for Comedy Actor, which is not nothing. But he also, his movie is not up for Best Picture. And it was widely expected to be up for Best Picture. It got on almost everywhere else. I thought for sure it would be up for picture, but it didn't. Now, both movies that are in the top 2 in this category are up for Best Picture. And I think that really does help. I think Garfield, while people like him, and people certainly did try to make a case for him, he hasn't won anything major outside of the Comedy Globe, and even then he wasn't competing against anyone who's currently in this Oscar lineup. So again, a very good performance from Andrew Garfield, but I just don't see a win happening, not under these circumstances. But hey, he's still plenty young, and hopefully has a lot left in the tank. Second most likely to win is Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog. Oh boy. So, on paper, it really does seem like Cumberbatch should be winning, because he is starring in the movie that is probably going to win Best Picture and is nominated for 12 Academy Awards. This movie really overperformed on nomination morning. It's beloved, and Cumberbatch won a lot of critics awards in the lead up to the major precursors. And you can see why. This performance is incredible. I'll have to admit, the first time I saw the movie, I thought, oh, there's no way Cumberbatch is winning for that, because the character is so unlikable. But then when I saw the movie for a second time, something changed about the performance. Once you have a better understanding of where that character is coming from and why he acts the way that he does, it really is quite striking. The first time you see the movie, he's a villain. He is a complete monster. And then the second time, you see the humanity poking through. And that is a really difficult task for any actor to pull off, and Cumberbatch does it splendidly. And I was trying to think of another adjective there, but Cumberbatch would definitely be my vote if I had a ballot. And I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing. And if he had just one of the important 4 precursors, Globe, SAG, Critics' Choice, BAFTA, then I would be predicting him. And I've had this feeling that Cumberbatch could come from behind and take it, similarly to how Anthony Hopkins did last year, but Hopkins had BAFTA and Cumberbatch did not. And I think Cumberbatch was widely predicted to get the BAFTA because he's British. But it didn't happen. And I think this year we just have to accept that it's not going to be Cumberbatch's year. Hopefully Cumberbatch gets another great project in the future that will allow him to win an Oscar, though it probably won't be as good as this role. But I just want to state for the record that Cumberbatch is incredible in this movie, and the film is absolutely worth seeing if you haven't. But he is probably not going to win. The person who is most likely to win the Academy Award for Best Actor is Will Smith in King Richard. In this movie, Will Smith plays Richard Williams, father of Venus and Serena Williams, and the movie is a big, big hit, nominated for 6 Academy Awards, and including picture, and Will Smith has notably won Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, SAG, and BAFTA. Now, I don't know how long it's been since somebody has won all 4 of those and then lost the Oscar. It might have happened in like early 2000s at the latest. I think Russell Crowe won a lot of stuff for Gladiator, but I don't know if he won everything. Usually when there's a big upset at the Oscars, it's somebody who has won an award somewhere. Like we saw just last year with Anthony Hopkins and Frances McDormand, and a few years back with Olivia Colman upsetting Glenn Close. But in all those cases, they had at least one win. They had the BAFTA. BAFTA seems to be really important. And the thing is, everyone was kind of looking out for the BAFTA because we were expecting this to be a repeat of last year, where Anthony Hopkins surpassed Chadwick Boseman. But BAFTA surprised us by going with Will Smith. They don't nominate him. This is his first nomination, and he won BAFTA. And that shows he really has support. Now, the man is really trying to be very charming on the award circuit and trying to give good interviews. Now, there's certainly people who have met Will Smith in real life who say he's a bit of an ego narcissist, and sometimes that can kind of come across in some of his speeches. He doesn't seem like the most humble man, but I think a lot of people are just too much in love with him and his charm, and think that this role is such a great fit with him, and like the movie, that I don't think that's gonna hurt him. Now, there is a part of me that thinks it's still possible for Will Smith to lose this, but I don't want to bet against him when he's won so much. I think Cumberbatch, that performance is just so showy, and in the presumed Best Picture frontrunner, that also makes a lot of sense. But it's unwise to go against something who's won everything. Even though, I have to acknowledge this, Will Smith would be the first black person to win a lead acting Oscar since Forrest Whitaker in 2006. And in that period of time, the Academy has given a lot of supporting acting awards to black actors, but not one in lead. And it's looking a little unfair. It's looking like a bit of a double standard. And I hope that Will Smith gets to break that trend this year. It really looked like it was going to happen for Chadwick last year. And a lot of people who were banging the drum for Cumberbatch wanted to make the argument that it was the same thing. That it was the same thing. But it's a different situation. Because that year, you could sort of see the warning signs for Chadwick Boseman to lose the Oscar. Because his film was not up for Best Picture, and because he had lost BAFTA. There were definitely signs, and both of those things are not true this year, and even though a lot of people do really like Cumberbatch and also Garfield, and I have seen Cumberbatch specifically get a lot more attention from critics and from film Twitter more than Smith. So if Will Smith had lost at any of the major 4, I'd say he's not safe. But I don't know. Even some of the craziest acting upsets that have ever happened, there's at least some indication that it's not a done race. And I think if an actor has SAG, Critics' Choice, BAFTA, Globe, it's really unwise to bet against it. Even though there's a part of me that thinks it could still happen, you've got to go with what all the precursors are saying. And so Will Smith is going to win. And to be fair, this is a very good performance, and all good for him. But yeah, I think Will Smith is winning because the signs all say it. So vote for Cumberbatch if you want, but yeah, it's probably going to be Smith. So thank you very much for listening to this video. Tune in next time, which may be tomorrow, may not be. I don't know how this thing is shaking out, but it's gonna... I don't know what day exactly I'll do a 2-in-1 day, because I seem to be busier than normal lately. But thank you. At any rate, thank you very much for watching, and tune in tomorrow where I will be taking a look at the category of Best Makeup and Hairstyling. See you then.